gonna be, what he's gonna get. Maybe, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on the other guy that had that same, Tyree Wilson.
Tyree Wilson.
Yeah, Tyree Wilson. So he's going to have that kind of layout, I think, just because that seems to be the defensive injury question mark. I'm hoping that's not the case, just because I like how electric he is. But if he does, if the injury concerns do stick, he's probably not going to play a lot in his first year.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's not the case, because it's just really rough for rookies. But if anybody else... Does anybody else have anything to say for the draft?
I want
right.
to say, like, one trade rumor, like, I've seen is there's a team the last, like, 2 or 3 years where kind of everybody's known what they've been doing, and that's the Steelers. Like, we knew they were going to take Najee, and we knew they were going to take Pickett for whatever reason, why'ever they wanted to. There's been a lot of stuff about them, like, in the last 24 hours, trading up.
What? Who were they even trading?
For Quinyon Mitchell at 12 with Denver, so that Denver can
The best corner in the draft.
so that Denver can trade down and take I don't know why they would take him, but Bo Nix.
Well, Bo Nix just fits the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
It is. Don't even get me started.
I'm glad you mentioned Quinyon Mitchell, though. That's who I was going to bring up before the segment ended. I think he's, without a doubt, the best corner in the draft. He didn't give up a touchdown his last 2 years at Toledo, and you could say, oh, it's Toledo, but just his coverage and just everything that I've seen on tape-wise, he's the best corner in the draft. And whoever gets him is going to be very, very lucky.
Okay. Yeah, that stat kind of reminds me of Sauce Gardner, not letting up a college career touchdown.
I'm interested to see, like, the run, because the run on, like, edge rushers could start at 8 if Atlanta stays there. But, like, Atlanta's a prime trade-down candidate, too, if that third receiver's still there. So, like, a team like Jacksonville or Indianapolis or, say, the Rams, if they want to get fancy, like, want to trade up, like, that edge rusher run might not start until, like, 17 if Atlanta were to trade down with, Jacksonville. And then you've got, Los Angeles needs a pass rusher. Miami, both their guys got hurt towards the end of last year. Arizona, if they move down, like, the edge rushers could slip, even if they're... Like, Verse, I think, is a really fantastic player.
Mm-hmm. I do, too. There's been some mock drafts of him falling to, like, the late 20s, which I'm kind of not shocked by, just because of how... offensively loaded it is. You're right, yeah. But I almost forgot my hot take. I believe that T. Higgins will be traded.
The guy literally just said that he wants a trade. Make up your mind. You were wanting a trade, then you were fine.
I'm all for it.
I think he's going to get traded to the Bills.
I can see it.
I think that's like I think the Bills are going to be aggressive enough to want to get him. I think it's going to cost them a first and a third. And with that pick, the Bengals, I could see getting Brian Thomas.
The only issue I see with that is Buffalo and Cincy are in the same conference and keep battling with each other. I was gonna say more of an Ayuk for
Ayuk
was apparently he might get traded too.
Ayuk literally said like 4 days from like the big announcement or whatever on Twitter. Like, dude, come on.
I thought that he was
so
like the best fit for him was going to be Pittsburgh. No, like I thought
Pittsburgh's just such a wild.
Ayuk to Buffalo would just work in my opinion.
I think it would too, but I mean, if the Niners front office is kind of sounding like they want to keep him, I don't think they're going to. But just because of how much money that they're going to need in the next few years, and I feel like the Bills are going to be more hungry to get T. Higgins anyways. Just because he already wants a trade, and it's not gonna. I mean, yeah, first of the third is a lot, but it's not a whole lot.
What was the Diggs trade?
They didn't.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot.
Texans.
No, I'm talking about
them.
the original one.
Oh,
from Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a first.
It was
They got Jay Jettas with that pick.
Yeah, they did. I forget what exactly it was, but I know it was a first.
It was a first, and I believe
Diggs and a seventh for
a first and a third. Hey, look at that.
It was a first and a fifth, and he was a lot older.
Okay.
Oh,
Hold on.
Same
No,
thing.
hold on. It is a first round pick, a fifth round pick, and a sixth round pick in the 1 year, and then a fourth round pick the next year.
wow.
So if you do a first and a third and like a sixth, that probably equates to it for a younger prospect.
Okay.
Ayuk moment.
Yeah,
Ayuk.
but that'll do it for the draft day jitters.
Can I say one more
Oh,
thing?
okay. Yeah, sure. Go for it, bud. Go for it.
managed to trade up for a quarterback,
No.
I could. Okay,
It's
so Daniel Jones could get traded,
I don't.
and I'm wondering
taking that? Who takes that
know,
salary?
I know,
The
but that's a
Broncos.
yeah. Well, they just got
Broncos.
Zach Wilson. They don't need anybody. What do you mean? I'm joking. But I just think it's interesting to see like guys that. I mean, we saw DeAndre Swift get moved last year. So I think it's interesting to see like guys that might potentially get moved just be based on like what happens in the first round, what happens in the second round. Maybe a guy like Cortland Sutton because Denver, maybe Cortland Sutton is part of that trade up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I'm so excited. Like this is the least draft work I've done in like 6 years.
Yeah,
Like
me
I know
too.
nothing. Like at this point, I studied 6 players and it was the top 6 quarterbacks. I didn't have time. So I'm just going into it blind, and I love it.
Yeah, it's nice. Now
Just
we
based
can just
on vibes. That's how I feel.
we can no longer stress about our teams getting this specific player. Now we can just watch. It's so nice.
Oh, I'm still gonna stress.
Well,
right.
same. The
Cooper
Titans.
DeJean.
You probably the most.
I want to hear what the 7th
I
pick
don't
the
know.
Tennessee Titans select.
Me the
Joel.
most, because if Minnesota trades into the top 6 and
Oh,
drafts
yeah,
J.J.
you're
McCarthy,
right.
J.J. McCarthy
You
is
actually,
learning
you
school.
actually should be the one worried the
now.
most
No, I
because
am.
that could screw you up big
Until
time.
I hear J.J. McCarthy go not to the Minnesota Vikings, I'm gonna probably put like
So-
I'm
marks
so
on my
glad you
knees.
know football.
Yeah, here's a piece. Josh McCown, who is on the
Yeah.
Vikings staff, coached Drake May in high school.
So the Vikings moving to the top 3.
If
There's
they
so
don't,
many things
I
that
mean,
could happen.
May's gonna go to the Patriots, but I'm just saying
Ah.
if the Patriots move down and to get that King's ransom, aka the 3 first-round picks from Minnesota plus more, if it sounds like it's gonna be Daniels at 2.
I think the first 3 are pretty much a lock
Yeah.
at this point.
I think the first.
Williams,
There's-
Daniels, May.
Yep.
Another thing that wasn't mentioned is for some reason the owner of the Patriots is getting involved in this decision, which, yikes! But that's going to be more of a quarterback move.
They did say they're
So-
willing to trade down, didn't they?
Yeah.
The Patriots.
I mean, that's literally any
I mean,
team.
Vikings could trade up with Patriots.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I'm just so excited. Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right, you want to talk about hockey now?
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Hockey.
Moving on to Hawks and hockey, and by far, the best postseason in sports, the Stanley Cup playoffs.
You're right.
Thank you. It's not often somebody agrees with me with
Hockey
that.
playoffs are just so
They're-
much
they're
more
just so-
energetic.
yeah,
and
it's a
less
whole
stagnant
different-
than NBA playoffs.
It's a whole different experience. It's amazing. But we're basically just going to go over the games that have happened and then do kind of like an elimination bracket of who's going to be the winner. Kind of like how we did a few weeks ago, but this time it's going to be solidified. So with that being said, Brendan, start us off.
So I've watched way more hockey this year. I've said that in the past, but I'm a big basketball guy. With the Grizzlies being bad, it's kind of shaped my love for hockey. And I've watched every single, no joke, every single NHL hockey playoff game thus far.
Lucky.
And I think I've sat down and maybe watched one full game in its entirety of the NBA, which for me is just unheard of, just considering how much I'm into basketball. Things I want to clarify. First off, as a Predators fan, I'm going to have to throw my bias out. With Demko getting hurt for Vancouver, Nashville's percent chance of winning the series went from like 35 to 55, just strictly because of Thatcher Demko being out for the rest of the series. The Predators looked great last night. They were outshot to all ends, but the defense looked phenomenal. Saros was great in net, and DeSmith for Vancouver, just he's not ready for the moment yet. And winning 4-1 and now getting home ice for the rest of the series, I can definitely see the Predators advancing to out of the first round. And with Edmonton's history and the Kings not being that great, considering what the Predators did to them this year, the Predators, you could say, could make the Western Conference Finals. I think that's as far as they go in this dream situation, but it's definitely feasible. That being said, I still think my favorite's got to be Florida. Especially if Bobrovsky keeps playing the way he does. I don't know if you were able to catch that game last night. Did you see the save he made in the second period?
No, I haven't been able to watch any of the games.
It was 2-2. The puck got loose, and Bobrovsky was facing. I was on the left side of the goal, and the Lightning had a wide open shot on net because he was hugged on the left post, and he threw his stick down and just threw his body backwards.
Oh, wait, yeah, he did like a
Yeah,
windmill,
yeah,
right?
hit it
Yeah, I
with his
did
arm.
see that.
Amazing.
And that game ended up going to overtime 2-2, and him and Vasilevsky both were playing out of their mind in the net last night in that series. But Florida, just with as strong as they are offensively, you got Kachuk, I'm just drawing Tarasenko now. That team, just from top to bottom, and if Bobrovsky's playing like that, I think they're unbeatable. Do want to shout out the Avalanche Jets series. That series is probably going to go to 7 games. Nathan McKinnon, he's looking like the MVP with the way he's played this series. I saw a stat the other day of McKinnon's 20-mile-per-hour burst this year. He has had 732 of those this year, and second place only had like 400. And that's just absurd. The way he can shape that Avalanche team, especially with Cale Makar, and the way Winnipeg's been fighting back too, that series has been great thus far. Overall, just so much invested in hockey playoffs this year. And my original prediction was Panthers-Avalanche, with the Panthers winning, and I'm going to stick with that.
Really, yeah. I'm concerned with the Panthers. You did mention how they're pretty good offensively, but they're a little bit top heavy in comparison to their other teams. I mean, you got Verhaeghe and you got Tkachuk, and then you don't have a whole lot after that have been consistent. So that's going to be something that they're going to have to fix within the series and so on. But I still feel like that they're going to be able to fix it and be no problem. I don't think it's going to be a major issue. The biggest thing is that if Tkachuk, for example, gets injured and he's out for the rest of the year, then I think that their hopes of making a cup is dwindled a lot.
Oh, tremendously. And just in that Eastern Conference too, I'm still not sold on the Rangers yet. I mean, these games with the Capitals, especially with how abysmal the Capitals were to somehow get into the postseason, and the Rangers have barely really skated by them these first 2 games. Just really not sold on them at all. I think whoever gets out of Florida and Carolina is going to come out of the East, and just Colorado in the West. I know they only finished 3rd in the Central, but they're just too good.
Plus I'm also kind of not high on the Rangers, but it's also the President's Trophy.
The curse.
Yep. I don't think this is going to be the year that it's going to get broken. They're going to come along a team. It could be any team, honestly. That's just going to take them away. I feel like they're going to get caught off guard. But just like last year when the Panthers took off the Bruins, do you remember that, Mason? You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I'm going to be honest. I was so happy when that happened. I was jumping up and down.
Yeah, similar to Brennan, I also have watched the most hockey that, like I've ever have in my lifetime. I always wanted to kind of get into hockey. I just never really had like the opportunity, and this show has given me the opportunity to get into hockey. So,
you're welcome.
Yeah, appreciate it. But I also watched the Predators game last night, which was a great game, by the way. I watched it during the halftime of the Bucks game.
Fantastic.
Scored 2 goals, I think, within like 20, 30-second time frame, which was just incredible. The series that I'm watching, though, is the Bruins and Maple Leafs.
Yes.
That is currently a 1-1 series. It's Pasternak versus Austin Matthews. That also is a series that I could also see going 7 games. So, I mean, I just think that's going to be back and forth. And I will say, I do think, and I think I said this before, but I do think I have the Panthers winning this year. Not to just double up on that, but I mean, they lost it last year to the Vegas Golden Knights, and I think that they have their chance to do it this year. So
I 100% agree.
That's fair. I feel like the global consensus is going to be Panthers. I'm not too sure who I have going. I'll have to think about it when we get to the bracket, but the Maple Leafs Bruins, I love it and I hate it. Just because it feels like a tradition at this point that it's a first round game, or it's a first round series between the two, and we have not made it past them every time. The first playoff game I ever watched of the Maple Leafs was against the Bruins, and they slaughtered us. They destroyed us in that series, and that's why I hate them so much. This year is a little bit different. I mean, they can't really. I'm gonna bash on your team a little bit, Mason. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But
it happens.
They can't close a game, and that was seen on Monday when they had a lead, and then in the third period, Austin Matthews scored that goal, and then
shot was that was such a great shot.
It really was. I mean, and if we're talking about great shots, Connor McDavid too, with that assist. Oh my gosh, dude, the spin
5
around
assists
pass
in game 1.
Amazing, man.
Modern day
Oh my
Gretzky.
gosh. You know what? I think I'm convinced that he is. But with the Maple Leafs Bruins, I also feel like the Maple Leafs are a little bit more star-studded. I mean, you got the big three, and that was without Nylander. Nylander is a game decision today, and if he does play, I'm going to be biased and say that I'm pretty sure we secured today's game and that we're going to take the series 2-1. If he's not, then it could go either way.
Well, yeah, it's nice because, I mean, you stole a game, on the road. Now you have home ice.
Now you
for the next two
establish home
games.
ice.
So, exactly. And I do want the Maple Leafs to win. I mean, I feel like the Bruins have kind of, I don't know, they just won a lot, so I just kind of want to see the underdog at this point.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
don't like them.
1967 was the last time we won a cup. So, and I can't even remember the last time we made it past the second round. I can't
The
even.
Maple Leafs curse.
If the new curse is going to be not getting past the second round. If we beat them this round, we're not going to make it past the second. That's just going to be how it goes.
To start off, the Maple Leafs, the last time they won a playoff series was 2004.
Yeah, so I was 1 year old.
I remember that.
That's
Those were the
cool.
days.
Those were the days.
From looking at it, that's going to be probably my most exciting matchup. I think that one's going to go to 7 versus the Bruins. The Bruins at the end of the season really picked it up. I think they were on a 9-game win streak to close out the season. I think that's going to be a really good series, but I don't want to drill the point home, but I also had the Panthers going all the way. I don't know. I feel like if it's not them, the Hurricanes, I would say, but
yeah, because they are a lot healthier and stronger than they were a year ago when they I dig that.
I think it's going to be the Panthers, but I think the Bruins and Leafs, that's probably going to be my favorite matchup.
It's a semi-historic one. I mean, it's recently been a historic one.
That's why. There's just a lot of
There's a lot going on, yeah. And the Islanders, I don't know. Actually, let's get to you first, Creston, before I talk about the Islanders.
That's the series I was going to talk about.
Okay, then go ahead. Perfect.
Yeah, the Islanders they won 9 of their last 11 regular season games going in, so that basically cemented their wild card spot. But Game 2 was just abysmal for the Islanders. They were up, I believe, 3-1 at the end of the second. They were up 3-2 with 2.5 minutes to go.
Gut punch, man.
Yep, and then they let up 2 goals within 9 seconds, just back to back, and then ended up losing that game. And then 3-1 loss in Game 1. It was 1-1 up until about 17 minutes left in the game. The Hurricanes added an empty net at the end, and it was just a pretty defensive game. I just think, like you were saying, the Hurricanes, when they're healthy, are just really good. Coach Chetkov as their backup goalie now, technically, because their starter's in now. But I just feel like the goalie play that is consistent, especially with 2 goalies, having 2 goalies that can go out there and save all those. And I feel like even defensively, I think it was the Hurricanes blocked 13 shots in Game 1, which is a lot. I just feel like the Hurricanes could make a deep run, especially because I feel like their side of the bracket is kind of the weaker side of the bracket. Obviously, you don't have to face the Panthers until the end, the Bruins possibly till the end, the Maple Leafs possibly till the end. You would have to face the Rangers or the Capitals, and I just feel like, yes, the Rangers won the President's Cup, but like you were saying, it's the Rangers and the curse. I don't know if it's real curse, but it's a curse.
It's when it comes to hockey, curses are real.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what it is, but and also with the Islanders, that's just so sad.
Yeah.
It's just so sad to be up by that much and then just collapse so fast.
In 10 seconds.
In 10 seconds.
It was hilarious because Barstool, they have a lot of connections to New York teams and stuff. They had a live reaction to that game, and they were the first 3 goals. They were celebrating, going crazy, and the lead guy, after they scored the 3rd goal, he was still processing the 3rd goal that tied the game, and he was still griefing that one. And then they scored again, and then he just completely just was so out of it. It was quite hilarious to watch. Just utter sadness fall on his face.
I don't know if you guys watch Barstool, but there's this guy, I think his name is Frank the Tank. I think he's an Islanders fan.
Yeah,
I would have.
that's who they're.
Oh, that's who it was.
Yeah.
Oh my
He was there.
gosh.
He wasn't the main guy, but like I said, they were still all processing the fact that they just tied the game, and then they scored right again afterwards, and just like you could just feel like the energy leave the building that they were watching the game.
I would love to be in a room with him to see that. That he's one of the funniest fans to watch his reactions.
So I was actually also going to talk about the Hurricanes, the Islanders. I was just going to point out the fact that, yeah, the Islanders finished the season kind of 9 out of the last, like, what was it, 12, 11? Yeah. But their point differential compared to the Hurricanes is absolutely horrendous. Like, minus 17 to 63. That's showing right now because of, it's like, what is it, 8 to 4, which I know they were winning by 3 to 1 in the last game, but it's definitely showing that the Hurricanes are definitely the better team. I did want to point out that, the Bruins, they always seem to disappoint just kind of recently in the playoffs, and it looks like that might continue again. That 5-1 win in the first game, that was nice, but obviously I thought it was always going to be a good game between the Bruins and the Maple Leafs. We've already mentioned it, but the Jets-Avalanche series is going to be a great one. I think that's the best one. And then I actually had the Stars winning it all on our last week Thursday show. I said that the Stars were going to win, and they played a close game against the Golden Knights earlier, losing 3-4. They play again tonight, so I actually have some free time, and I actually might get to watch a full-time hockey game.
Hey,
Nice.
lucky
For the first time
you.
in a while.
I'm telling you, it's worth it.
The playoffs,
It really
I've seen
is.
highlights just all over Twitter, and it's just like, I don't have time because I'm always doing homework. Got ahead on homework over the last few weeks. I'm happy. Definitely wasn't because of something else going on, but, aka the draft or,
Yeah,
Another distraction.
that's nice that you get to watch a game. I can't, even if I do have the time, I can't even watch a game because I don't have anything to watch it on. But
Stream East, I mean, what?
We do not condone.
we do not condone.
Here on 91.
I love how we all say it at the same time. But before we move on to the other playoff side of sports, I would like us to do just a little fun bracket of the tournament. I'm just gonna go down the line. We're gonna do this semi-fast just so that we can have some time for basketball. So we're gonna start with Zach. I'm gonna give you the Stars Knights.
Okay, I'm gonna go Stars for that
Okay.
one. They've been playing very well lately.
That's fair. Brendan, you have the Jets and Avalanche.
Avalanche in 7.
Oh, in 7. Okay. Mason, Canucks, Predators. You know the right answer.
I knew what this was gonna be. I'm gonna go Predators in 6 just so I don't get punched by the guy.
Dang, that's crazy. If you were out here, would you still say Predators?
Dude, do you know how aggressive this guy is next to me?
Do you have time to run?
I'm gonna go Edmonton over the
He bullies
Kings.
Me back here. He beats me.
And Creston, you have Florida over Tampa Bay. I'm assuming you're gonna
Yeah.
pick. Yep.
Florida.
Yep. Tampa Bay. Bruins, Maple Leafs, Austin.
I think it's tough to say. I personally think the Bruins will win in 7.
I hate you so much.
Womp,
I've got a new
womp,
friend.
Zach, Rangers, Capitals.
I mean, Rangers are already up 2-0. Just kind of seems like a
Yeah, that's
Decided, yeah.
fair. Hurricanes, Islanders.
Hurricanes gentlemen sweep.
Ooh.
Win Game 5 in Carolina.
Okay. Stars, Avalanche.
I gotta go Stars just because I had them winning last week, so I'm gonna
Okay.
continue that.
That's gonna be a fun series.
Okay. I'm gonna choose Edmonton over Nashville. I think that's gonna be it. There's no way they come back from that.
Panthers.
Yeah, I didn't even have to say it. That's awesome.
Panthers beating the Bruins.
Yeah.
Rangers, Canes.
I'm going to go Hurricanes.
Okay, there it is. And Stars, Edmonton.
Stars.
Stars, yep.
Look out for Edmonton in that series, though. They were my wild card to make the cup. Panthers and Hurricanes. Is that what we said? Or
Yep.
did we say Rangers? Panthers.
Panthers.
and
Okay, and then
5.
it's down to you, Mason. Panthers, Stars.
Stars just because I want to win.
Wow. Okay, so we have the Stars winning it all. Okay.
Don't
So-
fail me.
Now the rest of the time is going to be The NBA playoffs.
Oh, goody.
Yes, we're basically going to do the exact same thing as we did for the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, Zach, you want to start us off?
I'm going to go on a little rant here. Okay.
Go for it.
The Lakers are done. Lakers are done.
Cooked.
Lakers, that game, Jamal Murray needs to be deported for war crimes against Lakers fans. He needs to go back to Canada. I'm sorry.
I have never been so happy to see people go in
I have not felt that bad or devastated after a game until that game right there. My heart dropped. Heart sank, like life draining out of me, all that. The Lakers were up by 20 points in the third quarter. In the first game, they were up by 12, and they still blew it. They don't understand that if something is working, you just keep doing it. The LeBron and Anthony Davis pick and roll was beautiful. It was working. AD was making his shots. They were feasting on Jokic because the only weak part of his game is defense. He's tall, but he's not a shot blocker, right? So all you have to do is just keep doing the pick and roll because LeBron is good at passing. You know, Anthony Davis hitting his shots, right? Fourth quarter comes around, Anthony Davis takes one shot. He takes one shot after putting up 32 or something like that in the first three quarters. Then you have LeBron James, right? Okay. Yes, he deserves some blame for not hitting that three-pointer because he should have hit the three-pointer. It was wide open. But he did score 12 points in the fourth quarter, right? Of his, I think, 26 point, like he had a 14 going into that and he 12 in the fourth quarter. He got to hit the three-pointer, but he was hitting every single clutch bucket. No one else was doing anything. It's like, okay, LeBron, we know you're one of the greatest players of all time. Go do something. Like they're just watching him. Like go do it. Like Austin Reeves, what are you doing? Rui Hachimura, where are you?
Team.
Because and Anthony Davis, you take one shot in the fourth quarter. Like I get it. Jamal Murray, oh my goodness, goes into the fourth quarter shooting like 6 for 20, right? And then hits like every single shot in the fourth quarter. Like. Oh, it's just so
Small
annoying.
ball Jamal, shout in his ear.
And the Lakers, they need to understand that they need size. They clearly don't get that the past couple off seasons because in 2019, 2020, when they won in the bubble, right, they had two very good centers for Jokic for the matchup. They had JaVale McGee and they had Dwight Howard, who are both very tall and very big, who can like get into Jokic and make him uncomfortable because Anthony Davis, what he does when he guards him is he just puts a hand on him and he backs up. And that's what gives Jokic all the time in the world to make the right play or just back him down and like, oh, fake shot, spin move, and just absolutely cook Anthony Davis, who just said he was the defensive player of the year. He just said he was defensive player of the year and then gets cooked by Jokic and then the game-winning shot gets hit on Anthony Davis. It's just so annoying because the Lakers clearly don't know how to beat the Nuggets. This is the 10th straight time that they've lost to the Nuggets, and if something is working, you don't go out of that pick and roll with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And you need, it's just so, I'm very annoyed. Very, very annoyed with the Los Angeles Lakers. That is the worst way to lose a game ever. I've never been more distraught after a game in my life.
Jokic is the best player in basketball.
Deep breaths, please.
Sorry.
That was
top
the
10 moment on
that's a top 10 Hawk. I'm speechless after that. Oh my.
But on a brighter note,
Wow.
go Timberwolves. You know, I called that.
That's
so
pretty good.
much. The Suns beat them so many times, like during the regular season. Like it wasn't even close. And then they pull this during the playoffs. Like what? Why?
I do want to go against Sam and Azir here from the Monday show, just on how high they were on the Suns. Sam had Suns in the finals. I have been so anti-Suns all year. I am not a Devin Booker fan. I love KD to death, but that team cannot play defense. They have no depth. Minnesota has the exact opposite, which is defense and depth. They had the best defensive efficiency season of any team since the 03-04 Pistons. Just fantastic team all around. They have great depth. And everyone's like, oh, but they have KD, Booker, and Bradley Beal. Congrats. Can you stop them? No. Do you have anyone on the bench that can score? No. The Suns are so fraudulent. I do not like them. Timberwolves in 5. Thank you.
I agree. I think the Suns are frauds. Yeah, they're huge frauds.
Ever since they lost in the finals, I have been so anti Devin Booker. The way he just baits for foul calls and then complains.
Yeah, he's definitely gone down.
And just every time the Suns are up in a series, he likes to talk so much garbage. But then every time they're losing, or he's just constantly complaining. I love what Luka did to him in that series 2 years ago. And I hope that Devin Booker never wins another playoff series.
Jeez, what is going on? Is it the air?
It's getting hot in here now.
Jeez.
It is now hot in here.
Durant deserves a ring, though. Durant is a great player, and I'm tired of his only rings being with Golden State because when he retires, if those are his only rings, they're going to be
Asterisk.
Asterisk next to it. That was the word I was looking for.
I think his best shot was when he was with the Nets. He was literally a toenail away.
He's a shoe
Half a
size.
shoe size,
He's a
yeah.
shoe size away from the Nets probably winning the finals that year. Because then
just
they end up being
crazy.
fully final in the Eastern Conference Finals, and go Bucks though.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Bucks.
so mad at the Bucks right now.
Hey, I mean, it wasn't that bad of a game. Like yesterday, they still it was close. I mean, they're still without Giannis, and it's still 1-1.
Fourth quarter,
Yeah.
we
The
sold.
Bucks
Yeah.
will be fine. They'll be
I don't
fine.
know.
I am not nervous at all. This is me on the Pacers.
I don't know. I
Dame's
don't.
playing well though, man. Dame has dropped like 30 plus in both games.
Yeah.
Dame
Giannis
is
is gonna
literally
come back.
carrying
He's doing
us.
his
Like,
thing.
our biggest flaw is like it's just cohesive communication. Because when Beasley was going to the hoop, he was there was Bobby in the corner. Bobby was wide open, could have taken the three. Instead, he tries to like shoot it up around the rim, and there's three guys on him. I'm like, what are you doing? Not to mention, nobody else on the team could make a shot for at least 3-4 minutes in the second quarter. And Lopez, dude, what a slug he was that game, bro. He didn't do anything.
Well, all he did
He
was
had like
stand.
5 or 6 threes.
No, that was all he did. was
Okay,
stand
then
at
that
the
must have been when I
3-point
turned the TV off. I was so mad at him. And Connaughton too. He had
He
a couple
had a bad
he's been bad all year, I think.
He hasn't
AJ
been good
Green's
since the
better.
finals, in my opinion. He just
yeah.
hasn't.
Brooke Lopez had 1 rebound yesterday.
One?
1.
Oh my gosh, dude.
He's not a center.
Literally everybody else, everybody else that played, besides like Beauchamp, obviously because he played 4 minutes. Literally, Andre Jackson Jr. had the same amount of rebounds as Brooke Lopez.
7 foot for what?
Wow.
Seven
That's
foot for
what I'm
Like,
saying.
Giannis
You're
7
wasting
feet
all that height.
behind the
Give
arc.
me that height.
Giannis is the guy to get the rebounds for him. So with Giannis out, it's a little bit more.
They
difficult for him.
did say that they were gonna try to push Giannis to play if it is concerning. So I feel like if we lose one more game, I think that's gonna push them to speed up his recovery process.
Bucks still win the series.
I don't think-
I am just not. I'm not even a Bucks fan. This isn't even like me being biased as a Bucks fan. What you need in the playoffs is experience and depth and defense. And there is just one thing that the Pacers don't have, and they don't have any defense. And Siakam has played tremendous. Don't get me wrong. I said the only way Indiana wins the series is if he goes off, and he continues playing like he is. He's done something that only Elgin Baylor and Wilt Chamberlain have done. If he continues at this historic rate, then I'm a little bit worried. But as for everyone else, I'm not worried about Halliburton in the postseason yet. I'm not worried about anything else that the Pacers have going on, simply just because they lack the experience that the Bucks have. As long as Giannis comes back, Bucks still win in 6.
I was gonna say. Plus, you have to think Giannis will probably be covering Siakam when he
Yeah,
comes
Yeah,
you're not
that's-
going to see 37
When
points out of him.
when he comes back, I'm just assuming that he's not coming back for at least like this series. I'm assuming
I
that.
don't think he should.
Well, see,
Well, I mean,
I
if he's
don't
just
feel
gonna hurt-
comfortable
he's gonna
if
get
he
hurt
does.
again.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want him to, but I also don't want to lose this. So I'd rather him come back in with a chance to get injured and us make it past this than him not come in and we lose.
I think this next game determines on if he comes back or not.
That's exactly what I'm
Even if
saying.
we lose, I feel like if it's close, he still sits.
How close? Are you saying within 2?
Within
10.
Yeah.
Within
if
10
it's a
is-
single digit loss and it's like somebody just had a horrible shooting night, then I can see it. But if it's like, wow, everybody shot bad, you know, we have like 20 team turnovers and it's like 20-point loss and Siakam goes off again, then I would say, okay, it's, you know, time to come back.
Yeah.
Season's on the line.
I think that is indeed the consensus. And if I'm not mistaken, Pascal Siakam put up a playoff career high, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. He's averaging like 36
He's
Yeah.
in the
Look,
past
that's-
2 games.
looks like he's back in his prime again.
Yeah, that's
well, because
unfortunate.
he's the only person on that team that has actual experience because he won with Kawhi Leonard.
And
back
that's
in
that's
2019.
why I
That's true.
said previously that the only way the Pacers win this series is if Siakam steps up. And he's doing something, like I said, that only Elgin Baylor and Wilt Chamberlain have done of 35 plus points, 10 plus rebounds to start a postseason series. So if you can do the same thing and be in a conversation with Wilt and Elgin Baylor, congrats, you deserve to win the series. I just don't see Siakam keeping up this pace for a whole series.
Yeah, let's hope. I'm hoping that he gets like 15 the next game. Mason? what are your thoughts on the NBA playoffs so far?
I just overall I thought that the Clippers games the last 2 nights have been probably one of some of the favorites that I've watched just because of how back and forth they were. I honestly haven't had the chance, even when the Bucks won it all. I never really had the chance to watch any of those games just because of everything else that was going on. So this year I've walked in, I've set my stuff down, I've watched some games with my roommate, and I've just this isn't what we expected and everything. So that's just kind of my favorite part, is just the unexpectedness of it. And that's just kind of with everything that's going to happen this weekend with hockey, basketball, tomorrow with the NFL draft. I just love unexpectedness in sports.
That's why we love sports. Kristen?
Yeah, I know I mentioned this yesterday on the show, but fouls have been a huge problem in this playoffs. I think this wasn't including yesterday's games, but there have been 411 fouls called in the first 11 games.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah,
wow.
I think that rounds out to 35 or 36 per game.
Well, it's funny because there's a lot of no calls in that
Yeah,
section.
that's exactly, yeah. I just feel I think the Celtics are going to sweep the Heat, unfortunately. I just think it's either super close games or blowouts, which is kind of unfortunate because obviously you like to see the close games in the playoffs because it's the best teams, quote unquote. I think the Thunder Pelican series is actually going to be a lot better than people think.
100%.
I think the Pelicans defense is going to shut down the big three of OKC, and it could possibly go to 7, which is not good for the Thunder.
All right, and with the final minute underway here, we're going to go around the room and say the finals and who's going to win by how many games. Let's start with Austin.
I am going to have the Clippers in the finals from them, and I got to go the Bucks, and the Bucks in 7.
I would love that.
It's going to be the Nuggets, but Bucks, and I'm going Bucks.
Okay, I like that too.
So unflashy. Nuggets, Celtics, Nuggets in 7.
I don't like that.
Nuggets, Celtics, Nuggets in 6.
Okay.
I'm actually going to go T-Wolves Celtics, and I'm going to go Celtics in 5.
I can see it. I think the Timberwolves are the best threat to Denver.
And Edwards
right now.
is that dude, man.
Yeah,
They got KD.
they
you
are
got
pretty
James.
clean. They're pretty clean with it. I think I'm also going to have to say Nuggets, Celtics. It pains me to say that. I don't want to say it, but the stars align for it, and I'm going to say the Nuggets in 6. But that'll do it here for Hawk Talk on 91.7 The Edge, WSUW Whitewater. We're going to get you back to some more music here on the station. Have a wonderful day.